All good.
Welcome to the Realtor Diaries podcast. Today we're talking about MLS, the story behind the curtain.
What does that even mean?
I know. I'm Kim Jacobi with the Jacobi Team of Century 21, and as always with me today,
Elijah McGowan, also of the Jacobi Team at Century 21. We are your go-to Northern California realtors.
Yes. So today we are going to just kind of talk about, like, behind the curtain. What is MLS? Well, it's an actual thing that we go to. It's, a database, where we can look at listings. But every Wednesday at 9 a.m.
in our town.
Area, at 9 a.m. we meet at the Elks Lodge. And if you have a new listing, you can pitch it to a room full. How many people would you say are in average there?
Oh, 50?
Yeah.
More than that, maybe?
50 to 100?
Yeah. There are quite a few of us over there.
Well, we have about 700 realtors in our local association.
Which blows my mind.
I know. And so, what is that? Like a sixth of them, a seventh, an eighth of them are going to the MLS on Wednesdays.
So if we had one every day of the week, everyone would make it.
Yeah. Right? You're so funny.
Thanks.
And so in the springtime, that's our busiest market.
Yeah.
We usually have, like this year, I would say, like 15 or 20 new houses to pitch.
That sounds right for this busy season. In the fall as well, it gets about that level.
Yeah. And then in the slower times, I've seen it like the week before Christmas, there's literally like 5 to pitch.
Very few.
Yeah. I'm also a member of the Oroville Association, and that association is just for the city of Oroville. And so that MLS meeting is very different.
Okay. I've never been.
Yeah. There's like maybe 5 to 10 realtors that show up.
Okay.
And maybe 10 to 15 industry partners.
More?
Lenders, insurance, title companies.
So usually they outnumber the realtors?
Yeah.
That kind of blows my mind.
I know. And then the pitch, I would say on an average week, there's 3 or 4 to pitch. Yeah.
In recent times, has that held steady or has it been going up a little bit with the spring?
No, that's the spring.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Cozy and
weekly meeting though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. On Thursdays at 9. So what do they do? So, tell the people watching who's never been to an MLS meeting on 9. What does that look like? So
when you see on Zillow that there's an open house on a Wednesday morning, that's not random. That is probably that realtor pitching it at the MLS. Yeah. And then there's the open house afterwards. Exactly. So they come and they say, here's my property. Here's some fun facts. If they go too long, they have a bell ring at them. It's very fun. It's very fun. There's the crook at the side of the stage. And there's always that one realtor that always goes past the bell. And there's a couple who just will go past it and continue talking. Yeah, they don't care about the bell. No, it's always a good time. And then if it's held open for an open house, which most of them are, the realtor or someone on their team, someone in their brokerage, they go and hold an open house for 2 to 3 hours. And their goal is to lure us realtors to come and walk through. Yep. They'll serve breakfast, have coffee. There's almost always at least one raffle prize up for grabs somewhere. Yes. Money is a common raffle prize. It works. Oh yeah. Like I have eaten many MLS burritos. Yeah. Right? I know. It's like, okay, you're sitting there. Maybe you don't have any houses you're looking for that week for anybody. So you're like, okay, which ones am I going to go to try to get free food or win raffle money? Yes. And I think some of the most fun ones I've done is where like a large real estate team or brokerage will group together and have like an activity or event. And it's like, okay, if you go to all 5 houses, we'll give you, we'll deal you a card. Mm-hmm. And then whoever has the best poker hand wins the raffle prize. Totally. I did that exact one. And one of the people I was on tour with won the raffle prize. Oh my gosh. It was awesome. Do you remember what poker hand they ended up with? He probably had a straight. Yeah. Wow. I think so. Good. So the week of Easter, which was recently at the time of filming this,
there were several open house or broker open houses where they had Easter egg hunts.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then inside the Easter eggs were candy or money.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah, that's what you put in an Easter egg.
That's right. Yeah.
But it really is effective. Like it seems, I think I had the indication in my mind that it was like frivolous at first.
Yeah.
And then I pitched a few properties for you and Emmett.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Totally.
And it's really for the realtor who wants to do that little bit of extra for their client.
Yep.
And it's effective. And
well, yeah, I mean, if let's say you have like 4 or 5 people that you're kind of keeping in contact with, they want to buy a house eventually. They told you what they want: 3 bedrooms, 2 bath,
yeah,
blah blah blah.
And you have a relationship with these people.
Yeah. And so when you go on tour and you actually walk through the house, it really just brings that top of mind for that listing.
Yes.
Versus, because a lot of us, we get on the MLS every morning. That's just as we're drinking our coffee, just search through the new listings. But it's a whole other thing to go on tour and actually walk through the house. And that's up to the listing agent. The listing agent has to actually put it on the tour in order for that to have realtors walk through on that broker tour.
And I didn't really think about it in those terms until just now. Like if you have multiple clients that aren't in a rush, but maybe they do want to buy and they do, you can go to tour, see these houses, which I probably haven't done enough of that.
Oh yeah, that's same.
But you can go walk through and these people. You're like, they would like this.
Yeah.
And then you can bring them in. And,
that's right.
And you can be that forward-facing go-to realtor.
That's right. Yeah, and actually one cool thing that I've done in the past, probably should do more, is when I'm on broker tour, I take a quick video as I'm walking through the house, and then you could text it to that client and say, I was walking through this house on broker tour and thought of you. So it's another really cool way to stay in contact with your buyer client leads.
And just know, if you're a consumer who's listening and you have the time on a Wednesday to go to those open houses, you'll meet plenty of realtors.
Oh yeah.
So I also just thought of this. That's a good way to go find some realtors to interview.
I know. Well, you want to know the funniest thing about, so when a buyer goes to an open house, how long would you say that most buyers hang out at the open house? Like 5 minutes, 20 minutes?
Maybe 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's how long it really takes. That's how long it takes to get a good look at everything.
Not realtors, man. When they show up at that open house, if there's no food there, they run through the house. Yep. It's 1.5, 2, 3 minutes at the most.
Yep. I mosey along because that's just my pace. But I've gone on tour with Emmett and another guy named Walker from our office, and they're like, room, bathroom, gone. I'm like, whoa.
I will never forget. So years ago, before I was in real estate, my ex-husband and I, we had our house listed for sale. And we were there the morning of broker tour, or my ex was at work. And I sat there and I watched, no, this was office tour.
Okay.
So the whole office back then, they would caravan together to the office listings that week.
We still do that sometimes.
Yeah. And then, so I was sitting there and 15 people come filing in the house and they're almost running. Like
single file.
They were in and out in 5 minutes. I was just like, what the heck? I've never seen anything like it. It was so weird.
The thing is, just from that experience, thinking back to where you were, is that was that a good thing?
I was just ignorant. I had no idea that happened, that's what broker tour was. And now that I'm on this side of it as a realtor, this is what we do for a living. So we don't have to sit and take in the house. We don't have to get emotionally attached to the house. That's not what we're doing. We just want to see how big's the bedroom. And if you've been doing it long enough, all it takes is a quick glance to see how big that bedroom is.
You're like, okay, king, 2 queens, maybe.
Yeah,
go.
You can literally tell just by glancing in.
Yeah.
Is this a queen? Is this a king? Is this a twin-size bedroom?
Yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't take long.
Yeah, and I've started to notice as well, with getting more showings and having gone to tour a few times. Well, I say a few.
Yeah.
I can recognize either like the style of home or like even the builder sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I know what this house looks like.
Yeah.
And I just go.
Exactly.
I know
Especially those subdivision houses.
Yes.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's this floor plan.
And recently I went in one and it was the exact same floor plan as the first house I lived in Chico.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I know this house.
Yeah.
Like, what?
You're like, oh, I feel weird.
Yeah. I was like, why is the island on the left instead of the right? What is happening?
Yeah.
It's certainly interesting, and I've always found it really valuable.
Yes. Well, we're going to share some information with you now in our news segment about MLS. So stay tuned.
Don't get overwhelmed yet. And now it's time for the news. Today's topic, of course, is about MLSs and associations and the craziness that involves. But I think the most important thing to bring up first is like the process by which we mostly interact with it, or the most important process where we interact with it, that you have a lot of experience with.
Yes. So if you are listening to this and you're not a realtor, or you are a realtor but you've never had a listing yet, then maybe you don't understand that the basic process when a realtor is helping a seller sell their house, they will sit down at the computer, the realtor will, and log into their MLS account, and then literally upload the photos, type a description, click the boxes on all the property's features, and it's a very robust system.
Yes.
And then once you submit the listing, it goes live on the internet. And then all of the websites like homes.com, Zillow, realtor.com, they will start to pull from the MLS for the listings. So that's the basic purpose of an MLS. It's a database that allows realtors to be able to log in and see all the listings. One thing that does not pull to the consumer-facing sites that we have access to on our MLS site is showing instructions, whether or not the house is vacant or occupied. And then sometimes realtors will upload supplemental documents like reports or a title report, things like that. So there's more information that a realtor has access to on their MLS about a property than the consumer does.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's become very important in our business. It's like the central hub for everything. Like the reason we're able to go out once a week and drive around to see all these properties because it's on the central database.
That's right. But not every MLS. So let's say that my best friend wants to move down to Southern California. And she wants to, I can get on Zillow and look at houses with her, but I don't have access to the listings anywhere else other than the ones that I'm a member of that MLS, because the state of California doesn't have just one MLS. And Elijah's going to talk more about that.
Yes. So we have, I think we just counted 97 local California associations, meaning we have Sierra North Valley in Chico. There's an Oroville Association of Realtors. There's a Paradise Association of Realtors. A total of 97 across California, to keep it short. And amongst those local associations, there are nearly 50 MLS systems that realtors are entering their listings into every single day.
That's right.
Of those, 18-ish are owned by those local associations. And what that means for them is that you have to be a part of that association to upload your listings and view things like showing instructions and private remarks.
That's right. In fact, one of our local places around here is Tehama County.
Yep.
We're Butte County, and Tehama County is not that far away, like a 45-minute drive.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if I wanted to help a buyer buy something in Tehama County, in fact, you went through that.
I had that exact thing happen.
Yeah.
Where my buyer found the listing on Zillow, because I think all of the MLSs do still do the IDX feed out to all the consumer-facing websites.
Yeah.
But they found it on Zillow. I couldn't find it for the life of me on my MLS, and so I did some digging, Tehama County has its own local association, MLS.
That's right.
And so I found it there, was still, because I wasn't a part of the association, couldn't view the remotes I needed.
You can't log on to their MLS because you don't have a membership.
Exactly. And that's not to say it's a bad thing that they have their own local association doing the things that way. It just means that for us realtors, keep in mind that if it's at their association, you probably have a couple phone calls to make.
Yeah. There are a lot of realtors in California, similar in our situation, where maybe they're a member of multiple MLSs.
Absolutely.
Because they're servicing multiple areas that are within a very doable driving distance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that can also depend on like population density and, like you said, drivable distance. There's many factors that can cause someone to join up with multiple associations.
Right. Yeah. So and then of course you had mentioned that 18 of the MLSs were owned by the local association. That means roughly. The other 30 are subscriber based.
Yeah. The largest of which is, our local association is part of the largest one, CRMLS.
Yeah.
California Regional Multiple Listing Service.
Yeah, that's the one we're a member of.
Yes.
Yes. So a brief history on how the MLS got started. Real estate, as we've talked about in a previous podcast, it's been around for since the 1800s. Somebody wanting to use a real estate agent to sell a home.
Yeah, like the modern version of real estate.
Yeah. Well, somewhere in about 1885, the first MLS was born, and that was in San Diego. And basically, twice a day, a runner would go out and distribute all the new listings on a sheet of paper, a list, to the different real estate brokerages in town.
The multiple listing service.
That's right. So they kind of organized themselves that way. Well, about in the 1950s, they started to do a book. So the listings would get written, the information and one photo would get put on this card.
Yeah.
And then they would make the book, and all the real estate offices in that area would get one book.
Yeah, and I remember you saying, I think it was that's when it started to spread to areas that weren't just big cities.
Yes.
It's like, finally, okay, we have more of an easier way to spread the hub around.
Right. Yeah, because otherwise I think it was just in the newspaper, right? Yep. Listed in the newspaper or posters around town.
Yeah, it was the only way to do it.
Yeah. So, and that book would come out once or twice a month. Of course, the internet changed everything in the mid-90s. The birth of the internet just really made the ability to see all the listings instantaneously updated.
Made it right.
Yeah.
Now you can see any listing you want at any time.
I know, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Well, that's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you on our next episode.
Tune in next time.